audio and your video. Have you been listening to what's been going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure we're still live on YouTube, and we are. All right, now calling the matter of State of Georgia versus Ronald Baker, charged in warrant numbers 2025 WA 73649, 2025 WA 73650, public drunk. 73649 is obstruction of an officer. 2025 WA 73651 is disorderly conduct. 2025 WA 73652. terroristic threats, and 2025 WA 73653, obstruction of an officer. Representing the state is 88 Thomas. Representing the defendant is Attorney Lewis. Your witness, 88 Thomas.
Also, could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence you should give before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down, state your name for the record,
Officer Spragley.
and how you employed, officer.
I'm employed with the Clay County Police Department.
And were you so employed on or about the 15th of March, 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have occasion to respond to an incident at 905 Silverwood Drive?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that within the confines of the city of College Park, Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
And what brought you to that location?
I got dispatched to a disturbance call at the location.
And during the course of your investigation at that location, did you come into contact with a Ronald Baker?
Not initially, no, ma'am.
Okay, what happened?
I went to the location and I met with the victim named Corey Thompson. He doesn't live at the location. It's one of his friend's residence. He advised me that he was walking on Wynwood Road to the residence. And as he was walking on the street, he saw Mr. Ronald Baker in the driveway sitting on a chair with a firearm in his hand and also drinking. The victim advised me as he was walking, Mr. Ronald Baker had mentioned that he was a little boy and that he was a grown man. The victim paid him no mind whatsoever, continued walking. As the victim, Corey Thompson, stated, as he continued walking, that's when Mr. Ronald Baker left from the driveway and walked up behind him and said that if he has a gun, don't up it, and that he will shoot him. The victim advised that he never pointed the firearm at him during this time, but the victim...
Let me stop you right here. When you say he, who never pointed a weapon at him?
Mr. Ronald Baker.
Okay, but did Mr. Ronald Baker have a weapon?
Yes.
And do these people know each other?
No, they do not.
So a total stranger, the victim is just walking down the street?
Yes, and the victim stated that he was highly intoxicated. He had a beer can in his hand. Mr. Ronald Baker.
So he has a gun and a beer can?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what happened next?
The victim, Corey Thompson, continued walking. That's when Mr. Ronald Baker continued walking behind him, say he was going to shoot him multiple times over and over again. Mr. Corey Thompson managed to go to the residence where he then called 911.
Whose residence?
His friend's residence.
And he called the police from there?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, and you're the one who responded?
Yes, ma'am.
When you arrived, was the defendant there?
No, he was not.
How were you able to locate the defendant, or were you able to locate him?
Yes, ma'am. As I was talking to Corey Thompson, he advised me he didn't know the address initially. Mr. Corey Thompson advised me that he can show me where he last saw Mr. Ronald Baker. As we were walking up towards the road, he saw Mr. Ronald Baker walking down the street, again, beer can in his hand, stumbling, and the victim, Corey Thompson, told me that was him.
And you saw him walking with the beer hand stumbling down the street?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see a weapon?
No, not at the time. Until I got into my patrol vehicle, I managed to go ahead, try to make contact with Mr. Ronald Baker. As I got out of my patrol vehicle, Mr. Ronald Baker then proceeded to reach into his pocket where I did see the pistol grip of the firearm. At that time, I unholstered my weapon. I told him multiple times to stop reaching with, I saw a pistol grip in his pocket. Mr. Ronald Baker did not listen. He continued to keep reaching for his pocket. where he then turned away with his hand still in his pocket. At this time, my firearm is unholstered. I'm aiming my firearm at him. I'm advising him to show me his hands, let go, stop putting his hands in his pocket. Mr. Ronald Baker kept walking away from me, and another officer came to the location.
Let me stop you right here, right quick. Who was that other officer? Do you know his last name?
Officer Grooms.
Okay, so it's you and Officer Grooms out there dealing with Mr. Baker?
Initially, it was me first, but due to my radio traffic, Mr. Officer Grooms then arrived eventually. And that's when Officer Grooms put Mr. Ronald Baker at gunpoint, where that's when Mr. Ronald Baker then stopped, took his hands out of his pocket, and put his hands up.
Now, did Mr. Baker say anything to you all while all this is going on?
No.
Did he ever use profane language toward you or Officer Grooms?
So after he put his hands up, we got him on the ground. He started resisting arrest from both of officers, me and Officer Grooms. He was stiffening up his muscles, refusing to put his hands behind his back. We had to force his hands behind his back to where we then handcuffed him. I put him in my patrol vehicle. During this time, he was using profane language, F word. He was using also vulgar language as to suck his genitalia during this time, which caused for neighbors outside the residence to come and look, and kids also witnessing it.
So all these people are outside listening to all of this?
Yes, he was screaming outside of the patrol vehicle.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, did he ever say anything to either one of you that may have put you in fear?
He threatened to fight us. A lot of the whole officers with the shift during this time due to a possibility of a gun being drawn and shots being fired. He threatened violence towards officers, threatened violence towards me. I read him Miranda to get his side of the story. As I was reading him Miranda, he's yelling F me, F you the whole time.
Did he ever threaten to kill you or otherwise harm you?
No, but the threat was he knew I was a police officer. He saw me get out of my patrol vehicle. I asked to speak with him. He reached in his pocket, which was a loaded firearm. During this time of his arrest, we did handcuff him. I searched him, and I did find a loaded firearm. It was a high point firearm, black and colored, the same one that the victim, Corey Thompson, described.
So he never physically threatened you?
No, but as he saw me walk up, he saw
Objection, Judge. Narrative. I got his in.
Overruled. Go ahead.
As you walked up, what happened?
I announced myself. He saw my uniform, my police vehicle. I had Clayton County Police. As soon as he saw me, he reached into his pocket where the firearm was at.
Okay. And he did threaten the victim?
Yes.
And that's when he had the gun in hand? From
yes.
What the victim was told? Okay.
And it was the same gun that the victim described.
Were you able to make a determination as to whether or not he was in fact under the influence of alcohol?
Yes. So during his time of rest, I knocked the beer can out of his hands, and that's when we were struggling to put him into handcuffs, and he had a very, very strong order of alcoholic beverage.
And I believe that's all I have at this time. Reserved right for redirect.
All righty. Boss?
Thank you. Good morning, officer. How are you today, man?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm alive. I'm well. So it's a good thing. Let me start by addressing your first encounter with the person that you arrested. Is he in the road or is he on the sidewalk?
Can you repeat yourself again, sir?
Yes, sir. When you first encountered the person that you arrested, is he on the road or is he on the sidewalk?
He was on the roadway.
He was in the roadway. Does that road have sidewalks?
They do.
They do. All right. And then secondly, does he ever pull that firearm out of his pocket?
No.
Mm-hmm. And when he observes you, he puts his hand down on the grip of that firearm?
Yes.
All right. But he does not pull it from his pocket, correct?
No.
And he turns away from you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, I heard you say that Grooms came on scene in response to your radio traffic. Is that right?
Yes.
And Grooms, is he positioned in the same place where you are, or are you all overlapping?
We're overlapping.
All right, good. And when Grooms has his firearm pointed at the defendant, does the defendant respond?
No, he then stops and takes his hands out of his pocket, which he was gripping the firearm, and puts his hands up.
Okay. So he's got his hands out of his pocket now, but still has the firearm in his hand.
He didn't have the firearm in his hands. He was gripping it inside of his pocket.
Oh, I see.
Their grooms came on scene and had him at gunpoint too as well. That's
All
when
right.
he let go of the firearm and put his
I
hand.
got it. I got it. So once Grooms has his gun pointed at him, he releases the butt of the firearm, correct?
Yes.
And his hands, the person you detain, then has his hands in the air. Is that correct?
Yes.
How far is Grooms away from this man?
If I can guess an estimate, maybe 20 feet. Very close.
How far are you away from him?
I'm about, I would say maybe one and a half houses down.
You're 1.5 houses down?
So the apartment residence is like townhouses, so they're connected.
Okay, I got you. So should I say, and I don't know anything about that area right there that you're in. Is that like more than 50 feet away?
Give or take, it's very close. Yes,
they're tight.
Close enough where I can see an actual pistol grip in his pocket.
Right. But the distance is about 50 feet away.
Estimate, give or take, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, now, as far as your arrival on scene and encounter with the defendant, and only your arrival and encounter, the profanity does not begin until after you guys have him on the ground.
Yes, after we have him on the ground, he's in handcuffs. That's when.
Okay, cool. And I heard you to say that you knocked the beer can from his hand. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and the beer can, did it have beer in it?
Yes.
All right, how full?
I'm not gonna lie, I can't really tell because during this time I was more concerned about the safety.
Sounds reasonable to me. I heard you to say he smelled of alcohol. Is that correct?
Yes.
Alcohol coming from his breath or is coming from his body?
Body.
All right, cool. And then last question I got for you. Well, that's I just lied. Let me retract that. It's not the last question. Does he have any other issues from your observations other than intoxication?
I'm not sure of his mental state, but he was very under the influence of alcohol and very intoxicated.
Who transported him?
Officer Grooms. I took the weapon and all of his belongings to our evidence locker at our headquarters building.
Did Grooms tell you anything about his behavior or conduct during transport?
No, he didn't, sir.
All right. You have body cam on and operable?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you marked that and preserved it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let me go back to the incident that you're being told by the person who calls you. I believe you said his name was Thompson. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thompson said that the individual was highly intoxicated, correct?
Yes.
How did Thompson say he arrived at that conclusion?
As he was walking down the street, he saw the beer can in his hand and a firearm. As he was walking, he was already saying, "You're a grown man," being aggressive towards him.
Wait. Who's saying that?
Mr. Ronald Baker.
Okay, Baker is saying to Thompson, "You're a grown man."
He's a little boy, and that Ronald Baker's a grown man.
Oh, I got it.
They don't know each other whatsoever. Corey Thompson stated multiple times, "I don't know him. I don't know what was his problem." He's walking towards him on the roadway with the firearm and a beer can in his hand, making threats to shoot him. Even Corey Thompson told me he smelled of alcohol.
He smelled of alcohol. So, all right, cool. But other than that, Corey Thompson said Corey Thompson did not tell you whether there was prior conversation or prior encounters on the same day or a prior day between the two individuals. Is that right?
Yeah, Corey Thompson just told me that he doesn't know him and he was just walking to his friend's house. And this is the first time he interacted with Mr. Ronald Baker.
So he had nothing to say to Ronald Baker beforehand, correct?
No, sir.
And you asked him this, or did he just not volunteer that?
I asked him.
Okay. All right. And just out of the blue, Ronald Baker started talking to him and making threats and or insults. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did Corey Thompson say that there were any other individuals out there?
I'm not sure. I can't remember, sir.
I got you. The did you observe or secure any video or audio record from any other source other than your own body cam?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. And then last but not least, the firearm that you took from the pocket of Baker. Did that firearm? I heard you say it was loaded. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did it have one in the pipe?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you test that at all to see if it had been discharged?
No, sir. I took the firearm straight to our evidence locker.
All right. Thank you.
All right, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, closing arguments?
I
Attorney
was-
Boyce?
Let me look at this, Judge, for a second, please.
All righty.
All right. Thank you, Judge. With respect to the charges, I'm looking at a total of, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking at a total of 5 charges here. 2 obstruction charges, Judge, and I am we're looking at a terroristic threats charge, a disorderly conduct charge, and a public drunk charge. While I would submit to you, Judge, that there is cause for an open container of alcohol, which I believe is a county ordinance violation, I would submit to you that there's not cause for a public drunk case here. The officer smells the odor of alcohol coming from the body, not from the breath, and the officer does not know if there is some other mental behavior going on. So I don't think we can arrive at the conclusion that he is drunk. Corey Thompson said that he didn't have any prior encounters with him, and he is drawing the conclusion that he's drunk because of the erratic behavior and the presence of a beer can, but not that he actually has observed this man get drunk or anything else. So I would submit to you that open container alcohol under the county ordinance might be more appropriate rather than the public drunk. With respect to the disorderly conduct, Judge, I'm going to stip that you got enough on that. Terroristic threats as well. With respect to the obstruction, Judge, I'm going to submit that you don't on either count. We got 2 cops here involved. This young man that's before us today, who is approximately 50 feet away from the defendant, he gives him an instruction. The defendant sees him, sure enough, but we don't know if the defendant hears the instruction at all. The defendant, according to the officer, turns away and walks away with his hand upon the grip of a firearm that is in his pocket. Officer Grooms is the next person that comes on scene, and Officer Grooms is 20 feet away and perpendicular to where this officer is. Officer Grooms gives the individual instruction, and he complies 100%. And so I don't believe that we have an obstruction. If we take the obstruction standpoint at the point that he has been forced to the ground by one or both officers, and I believe it's this officer that's actually doing the takedown, and he's resistant to getting the handcuffs placed on him, then those handcuffs are being put on him by one cop. They're not being put on him by both cops. And so it depends upon where you look at this matter as to whether there's any PC on either obstruction charge or there's only PC on one of them. But there's certainly not PC on both. And so I'd ask the court to dismiss both obstruction charges for the reasons that I've stated. Dismiss the public drunk charge as well, Judge. And with respect to the balance, we'll submit on that. Thanks.
All righty. ADA Thomas.
State will submit on the evidence as presented by the officer, Your Honor. I do believe the court has more than sufficient evidence to find this man was publicly drunk. And I believe the defense may have submitted on everything else.
All righty. So the only thing I did not find PC on is both obstruction charges. I only heard PC on one. So I'm dismissing 5-3, but I am binding over the remaining counts. That's the order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Officer,
Hey, Judge, you gave that to me by a number. That one, that 5-3 that you're looking at.
It's obstruction. So I kept one obstruction and dismissed one.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. All righty. And so did we have another one?
Yes, ma'am. That should be Officer Williams's case.
Is that on Jones?
Yes, and there's Officer Thomas logged on for Officer Thomas. Oh, Mr. Lewis, we have your last one. Jade Brown.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to that. The judge says it's not a hard stop. I'm gonna ask her the question then. Can you go on with the one you got though? Which one you got for? Is that my prelim that you got?